I would like to take this time to thank everyone who watched my previous video where I fixed Batman's death scene in the Suicide Squad game while within the confines of what I was given. Also, to anyone who subscribed to my channel after that video or any of my other videos, thank you. Welcome to another episode of If I Had the Pen, where I dissect stories, scenes, characters that I feel were not executed well. Then I fix them. Sometimes within the confines of what the original is giving me to work with, sometimes I do a full rework. If you like my approach to writing, feel free to check out my novel, Wolvon, which is available on Amazon in both paperback and ebook formats. Links to it are in the description. The ebook has a free preview that comes up when you click on the cover. Now today I'm looking at Amber from Amazon's version of Invincible. Since now we have two versions of the same character that really don't resemble each other in more than just appearance, so I need to distinguish who I'm talking about without using just race. Now I personally don't like race swap characters on principle. I feel they're lazy, uninspired, and take away attention from characters that are naturally these races. No, don't tell me it doesn't matter, because if it didn't, they wouldn't have changed it. Also, with Amazon's Amber, it seems like because she's under a checklist now, she wasn't allowed to not be in control at all times. She doesn't get called out on bad behavior because somebody at Amazon or the writing team themselves might have thought that would be too offensive or something. It's stupid, I know, but modern Western writers tend to handcuff themselves with absurd levels of political correctness, trying not to offend certain people, the media, or their bosses, even though the average viewer wouldn't be offended by these things. Now, as of the time I'm recording this, Invincible Season 2 Part 2 hasn't released yet. However, so far it seems that whoever is adapting this made the choice to just ignore the events of what happened with Amazon's Amber in Season 1, in the first half of Season 2. So only time will tell if they fix it themselves. For now, it doesn't look like it. What am I talking about, you ask? I knew you were invincible the entire time, even though I was still acting like I didn't know your secret, to get super pissed at you for leaving in a crisis, but immediately showing up to save me. Basically putting on a show and manipulating you. That's the short version. Now, let's start dissecting this and why the events at the college to the breakup scene don't work. Then I show you how I would do this if I had the pen. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Invincible Season 1 or read the comic and that's a concern, then come back to this vid after checking that out. If you saw this already or just don't care about spoilers, then you're fine. In the show, Amazon's Amber and Mark are already having their issues. Mark keeps no showing because of superhero stuff, the not showing up to meet her parents being the worst part. Also some crap about a soup kitchen or whatever. Mark was busy getting his ass beat by Michael Thorne. She supposedly doesn't know he's invincible, so she said she had dumped him already, but since he was all messed up from a supposed car accident, she was on the fence. Plus, Eve went to bat for Mark, saying he really isn't a bad guy, which helps. He asks to start over, and she agrees. Fast forward to the college scene, Mark, Amazon's Amber, and William are attacked on campus by one of the students that got turned into a messy, deranged cyborg. Mark considers fighting in as is. Amazon's Amber tries to save some random people and tells Mark to do the same. William starts to get choked by the deranged cyborg. Mark needs to save the day, so he runs off seemingly, leaving Amazon's Amber and William behind. In reality, he comes back in seconds in costume to protect his secret identity and to save William. Ultimately, he succeeds in saving everyone there by ripping off the helmet of the deranged cyborg, who decides to leave this mortal coil after getting a look at what's been done to him. Mark leaves in costume, comes back in seconds. Amazon's Amber is pissed, saying he abandoned them, leaving everybody at the mercy of that deranged cyborg. Mark tells her he tried to get some cops because he couldn't find campus security. She's not buying it. Basically says he broke his word and Eve was wrong about him. She puts out the water. Okay, here's the thing. All of this would have been fine if she didn't know Mark was a superhero. Well, later on, she reveals that she does and has known for 2 weeks or so. So basically, she knew during this scene that he was invincible. Why the hell is she crying? Because what? Because she said later that she didn't like Mark lying to her? Is that what you're crying about now? While your boyfriend just saved you and everyone else? The original Amber was inches from this thing before Mark saved her, and she still didn't cry. She walked off pissed. Keep in mind, the original Amber didn't know Mark was invincible, so it made sense she had this reaction. She was actually in immediate danger. Amazon's Amber was long gone, then came back, while William was the one in danger. So what, this needs to be all about her now because you pivoted back to the original plot point in a clumsy way? So she cries like a little bitch for that? She wasn't even in immediate danger. The original Amber was, and you don't see her crying about it. Hell, the original Amber could have cried and that would still work because she doesn't know. Amazon's Amber does, and is being a drama queen. I'm convinced that whoever wrote this at this point was going to honor the original comic because the story works and there's no need to change it. Then someone said some nonsense at some point. Oh, she shouldn't get rescued by a man. She's a modern woman. She's always in control. She should also know Mark is invincible before he tells her. Even if it makes no sense since they made these scenes under the premise that she didn't know, only to retcon it later and turn Amazon's Amber into an even worse character because it's sexist somehow. Oh, really? Well, you created this problem and did this version a disservice by tying your hands with fake problems. Moving on, Amazon's Amber is still acting like she doesn't know, and this drags on. She acts mad, she tries to cuck Mark with some random guy they created just so she could think about using him for a revenge lay. Yeah, she doesn't do it, but she pretty much thinks about it. Noted she met this dude once in a blink and you'll miss it scene before this. Again, this is petty and vindictive, but the narrative doesn't play it that way. Amazon's Amber didn't even break up with Mark yet. She just gave him the sit on the couch tonight treatment and that's it. It's a dick move to seconds later start eye-humping a random dude she met in the hallway. I don't care that she didn't go through with cheating on him. The fact that she was going to cheat on Mark instead of just breaking up with him is a dick move, no matter the reason. Yet Amazon's Amber is always in control, always right, no matter what. By the way, original Amber didn't do this last time I checked, so this scene was added needlessly. They're basically killing time now. So let's fast forward to the breakup scene. Mark tells her he's invincible and how he wanted to tell her so many times. She says, "I'm not stupid, Mark, I found out weeks ago." Once again, she always needs to be right and in control. Mark asks why they're fighting, and rightfully so. She flips it to be about how he lied and tried to make her feel stupid. That he wouldn't tell her he was invincible. He says, but he did just now. She is dismissive of this fact and kicks him out. He says nothing as if he's wrong and leaves. She looks out the window with not a single sign of remorse. Later on, Omni-Man reveals the truth that he's here to conquer Earth. The killing spree ensues. He whips Mark's ass, then hits him with the moment that got memed to death. Fast forward to the makeup scene. Amazon's Amber just shows up at his door, plays kissy face, and just offers to get back together, rallying off how she figured out on her own that Omni-Man was his dad. Because of course she did. Dear God, you won't even let Mark tell her? Is that sexist too? So they get back together. Amazon's Amber does not apologize for all the petty, manipulative things she did. Because of course not. Shows no remorse because somehow she isn't in the wrong. Whoever wrote these changes, what the hell is wrong with you? You basically made this relationship toxic and now you just brush it to the side and don't even acknowledge it. I'm just supposed to forget it all because, oh, it's time for the makeup scene. That's incredibly unearned. Okay, that's enough. Nothing here works and you created haphazard changes for whatever modern audience lie you want to sell me. This doesn't even work with the changes you made to her personality. Am I supposed to buy that Amazon's Amber would wait 2 weeks to confront Mark about his secret once she figured it out? Hell, she probably would have just told him she knew right after he came back from getting his ass whooped by Michael Dorn. Now, here's what I would have done if I had the pen. I feel like I want to attack this from multiple angles, so I'm going to be giving you guys 2 versions of what I would have done. To be honest, I wouldn't have changed anything from the comics, so in this version, I will preserve the fact that Amber does not know Mark's invincible. I will also put things back to her being saved by Mark. Hers being seconds away from being hurt directly will justify her crying, if that simply must happen. The stuff with the stupid frat party and the random guys she almost cheats with will be gone. It makes both her and Mark look bad. Her for almost cheating on him, also him for just watching her do it and not at least politely interrupting the conversation. It's a time kill and not a good one, so it all goes. Everything else is the same until we get to the breakup scene when Mark tells her he's invincible. Mark says, "I'm sorry, I really am. I wanted to tell you sooner, I really did. It's a big decision, and it was hard to figure out when was the right time. In the end, I really don't want to lose you. I'm sorry you were left thinking I was ditching you all the time, that I ran out on you and left you in danger. I wish I had told you sooner." Amber replies, "I wish you did too." Mark asks, "Are you still mad at me?" Amber replies, "A bit, but at the same time it feels wrong to be mad at you. Yet I am, I don't know. I need time to think about all this. I think we should take a break." Mark replies, "A break? So we're not breaking up?" Amber replies, "No, but maybe. I don't know. I just need my space for now." Mark replies, "Okay, take all the time you need. Whenever you're ready to talk, let me know. I'll be there." Mark flies out the window. Amber looks out the window. She still doesn't know what to make of all this, hoping time apart will give her the answer. Fast forward to the makeup scene. Amber shows up to Mark's home, hugs him right away just like before. She says she's heard about the car accident that killed his dad, that she's here for him. Mark tells her the truth about his dad. My dad didn't die in a car accident. He's Omni-Man. Amber is shocked. The guy who did those horrible things to everyone? To you? I'm sorry, Mark. Like I said before, I'm here for you. You don't need to go this alone. Mark replies, thank you. So does this mean we're not on break anymore? Amber says, yes, we're not on break anymore. I do wish you told me you were invincible sooner, but I understand that was a big decision for you. In the end, you did tell me, and that's what matters. Plus, I couldn't stay that mad at given all the good you do. The two share a kiss and are officially back together. So that's the best solution, honestly. If you simply needed all that will they, won't they type drama, you're still getting it, but everyone's reactions and motivations are relatable. You don't come out with this toxic relationship. Amazon's Amber is no longer a divisive character. Sure, I could still do without the modern liberal nonsense. At least now I can push that to the side because she's not a jerk. Just a little annoying. You still would be fine with them staying together. Plus, it honors the fact that originally their ultimate problem was that they were star-crossed lovers. In the end, their worlds were just too far apart for them to stay together. Refreshingly, they broke up mutually and maturely. There's no need for drama. They had their run, and now it was over, which is a nice change of pace. Now for version 2, I'm forced to keep most of the stuff that happened in the show originally. I still want to remove that frat house stuff, but if it stays, it stays. Now when we get to the makeup scene this time, after Mark asks if they're getting back together, Amber says, yes, if you'll still have me. I did some really stupid things before. I put you through a lot of grief. I was upset that I felt you didn't trust me, that you thought it was okay to let me think you would abandon me in a dangerous situation. I was upset and thought that justified my actions. I was wrong and I'm sorry. Can you forgive me? I want to make it up to you and be there for you in your time of need. Mark thinks about it for a moment. Amber hangs on his next word. Finally, Mark says, okay, we'll try again. It's been rough, so it would be nice to have some support. Amber says, thank you. I promise to do things right next time and be more understanding. Now, this one isn't as good as the first one, and it's less of a rework. I put myself in a situation where I only had this one scene to try and fix things, which is the hypothetical job I was given in the 11th hour. At least this way you don't brush what she did under the rug. You acknowledge the mistake narratively. You present the hopes that she will grow from the mistake. Mark is clearly taking a chance that the relationship won't be toxic again. However, that in itself is still relatable. I think a decent amount of people have been in a relationship like this at some point of their lives, except minus the comic book stuff. How many times have people taken a chance and tried to look past their lovers' issues, making an attempt to fix them in some way? It normally doesn't end well, yet you still feel you love the person, so you take a chance on them. Still, at least now her bad behavior is acknowledged and gives people something to chew on down the road. Characters can start as jerks and turn it around in the end. There are entire movies based on that premise. Also, if you break them up eventually, then you have to add this as one of the reasons. Even if people aren't on board with this pairing, they might want to see how it falls apart. Sometimes people like to see a car crash. This could also be the start of getting her character back on track while not asking the audience to blank all this out of their heads in Season 2. Well, that's basically what I would do if I had the pen. Tell me what you thought about my solutions and which one of them you prefer in the comments section. Like, subscribe, ding the bell icon for alerts to my stuff. Share the video with others if you want to. I won't keep you all any longer. See you out there, and always remember, story first.